welcome back. The live stream is about to begin momentarily, and soon I'll start answering all of your questions about VR. I've had my VR YouTube channel up for over 5 years now, and for the past 2, VR has become my full-time gig. I'm experiencing new virtual reality games every single day, and I of course love checking out the latest hardware. So if you have any questions at all about this industry, stay tuned and I promise I'll give you some answers. As a reminder, if you have a direct question for me, please use @Mateo311 down in the chat when asking. And if you want to help support this channel, go click the thumbs up right now. Now the stream will be starting soon, but in the meantime, enjoy the montage. Hello everybody and welcome back. The live stream is about to begin momentarily, and soon I'll start answering all of your questions about VR. I've had my VR YouTube channel up for over 5 years now, and for the past 2, VR has become my full-time gig. I'm experiencing new virtual reality games every single day, and I of course love checking out the latest hardware. So if you have any questions at all about this industry, stay tuned and I promise I'll give you some answers. As a reminder, if you have a direct question for me, please use @Mateo311 down in the chat when asking. And if you want to help support this channel, go click the thumbs up right now. Now the stream will be starting soon, but in the meantime, enjoy the montage. And boom, we're on. What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm live. I'm chilling. I'm doing my thing. We're going to talk about some games today, and it's going to be a grand old time. Obviously, I'll answer any questions, whatever you guys got for me. But yeah, we're chilling. How you guys doing? Seems quiet so far, which is odd. You guys forget about me? Normally the chat's blowing up with a bunch of people. I gotta sound off on a couple names. I am live though. All right. Pedro, what's up, man? What's going on? Calm day, huh? How you living? Salvador, what's up? What's going on? There it goes. There we go. The people are starting. Arlen, what's up, my man? What's going on, guys? Same old day. I have been so addicted to Fallout 4 VR with Genghis's overhaul mod. I can't get over it, man. I want to be playing. Just came from the upload cast. I've never actually watched the upload cast. Who is the Metro? What's up? You are the Metro. What's going on? Humming Snickets. That's a name I've never seen before. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Welcome on in. First time here. I pretty much spend about 90 minutes answering your questions about VR. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the day. I'm of the week, actually. Not gonna lie. I honestly just enjoy hanging out with you guys and chatting it up, shooting the shit, you know, doing all that. What's up with Hitman? We're gonna see more of Hitman at the VR showcase, I believe. Yeah, it's gonna be on there. What's up? It's in development. Let's hope it doesn't suck this time. I'm finding myself a little bit more comfortable position. The camera's on an angle now. Only because my monitors are too freaking big. I can't put it where it used to go. My monitors are 57 and 49 inches. That's what she said. All right. Richard, what's up, man? How's it going? For once, I'm not at the art meeting when you're streaming. There's an art meeting. For what? I'm curious, though. Yeah, we got to discuss Toast Interactive and whatever the heck happened to Richie's Plank and Max Mustard. I've spoken to Richie. I've actually met Richie in real life at the VR, the AI XR Awards. I met him there. I've spoken to him a couple times in the past. I met him in real life. Really nice guy. Made me feel super short. He's a tall dude. And normally I don't care. I know I'm short and I never notice, but he was a tall dude. Anyway, I met him and I wanted to reach out, but I'm sure there's a million people reaching out to him. And right now his priority is getting this resolved, whatever the hell's going on. So I let it be. I wasn't looking for any inside scoop. Victor, thank you for the support. Much appreciated. And just a reminder, guys, usually the chat gets too fast for me. And when it does, just start using @Mateo311 if you have a direct question for me. Otherwise, sometimes I get mixed up between, you know, the back chatter between people or just I miss it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there with Toast, but I hope it gets resolved soon. Do you think the secret project that Valve is working on is Half-Life 3 or maybe a continuation of Half-Life Alyx? I don't know. I really try not to get excited for Half-Life 3 because I'm in my 40s. So at this point, I think I've had, I don't know, 37 Half-Life 3 false alarms. So, back in the day, Valve was like, listen, major games take too long to develop. It's like 3 years between games. Developers kind of, not developers, but like consumers kind of lose momentum. They don't want to play the next one in the series because they haven't played the last one for like 3 or 4 years. So we're going to do episodic content. And they started releasing episodic content to kind of keep the story moving along before they do like another big major version. And we never got that major version. So it's been a million years we've been waiting. So In's Eyes Lumi, however it's pronounced, they pulled the plug on development for Quest 3 eye tracking. Was there a reason why? I mean, I never saw it as a profitable device. It's one of those, like, it's cool to develop it, and if the end goal was that they'd make a little bit of money and then they made a lot of experience learning and they made a product that people like and they at least made, a little bit more than their money back to make it worthwhile, I'd be all for it though. But I think it's a rough endeavor, kind of like the old school headset. I can't remember the name right now. It's killing me. They had a really weird lens. It was basically a Quest 2. It's like a Quest 1.5. The hell was their name? They were supposed to be all about camera-based AR, and that was their whole thing. It's driving me nuts. I don't remember the name of the headset. And it was like a big deal for for like a hot minute. But none of these smaller companies have the means for mass production. They don't realize like everything that needs to be in place, and by the time your product gets to mass production, like the hardware is like 3 years old. So Lynx R1. There we go. Thank you, brain. Just came to me when I wasn't thinking about it. Have you tried Starfield VR yet? It's in beta playtest. Great MOBA. No, I saw someone post about it recently, and I was like, what is that? That looks halfway decent. But no, I haven't tried it. I've had this it's not odd. I've had a Fallout 4 VR addiction. The overhaul mod is crazy. It doesn't feel like the same game. I didn't really like I was a big Fallout fan going all the way back in time, like Fallout 1, 2, when they were isometric. 3 blew my mind. Everyone loves New Vegas. 4 I was annoyed at because I felt like the engine didn't improve. They didn't wipe out the bugs. The storyline sucked. I didn't really like 4 when it came out. I played it on flat screen. I even streamed it like way back in the day on Twitch. And I didn't like it. And then they added a crafting system. I don't give a shit about a crafting system. I'm here for an RPG. So it wasn't for me. But now with this overhaul mod, it feels like a fantastic VR game. It is so creepy. Like, there's the right level of creepy. The graphics are really good. It can, it can still use some tweaks. It's Fallout, so it always needs tweaks. But this overhaul mod is insane. And the only thing driving me nuts that I haven't unchecked, because Genghis is begging me not to, Genghis has a mod in there, one of our own personal mods, that plays music when you die. And it's like insult to injury. Like, it either plays the Mario, like, boop, doo-doo, whatever it goes, when you die. I lost the sound effect the second I started. I was going to go doop-a-doop-a-doo. That's not it. Anyway, you get the Mario death sound, or you get, a bunch of songs that kind of just rub it in, insult to injury. And I'm like, and last time I was playing it, I got killed. And it's like, what you say? And I was just like, I took my headset off. I'm like, fuck you, Genghis. It's like she knows how to twist the knife. All right, back on topic. Any of the Half-Life games in VR are amazing. I don't know how they did it. The standalone mod for Half-Life 1, 10 out of 10. Yeah, I played through all of it before Alyx came out. And then if you play Half-Life 2 in VR, that's crazy how good it feels. It's pretty insane. It really scrambles my brain that we were capable of so much more, but a lot of it always comes down to building from the ground up and also not enough money in VR. It's crazy. Did the Roto chair ever get an update for joystick tracking? It really depends. It's not like an update for the software because the Roto Chair doesn't use any software. That's one of the things I loved about the Roto Chair. It doesn't use any software. Developers can take their game and make it communicate with the chair. That's a possibility. But the chair itself, it only has this dongle that does head tracking. It's not software based. So, like if you get the game Dig VR will move the chair based on the controls. So like if you go in game and grab like the controller for a crane, your chair will rotate. It's pretty cool. But that's all on the developer side. It's not software side for the actual chair, if that makes sense. Is that Fallout mod free or paid? It's free. It's 100% free, except you really want a Nexus subscription because you have a Wabberjack download list with about 260 mods. I think mine's set to 263 right now. So you have this Wabberjack list that's going to get you all the mods. And if you don't have a Nexus account, between every mod, it's going to say download, and it's going to download slow. Download, and there's a 5-second delay. Download. So 260, and times 5, we're at what? 1300 divided by 60. What is it? 50 minutes of your life? No, the math went sideways there. That's anyway, 20 something minutes of your life just clicking download. That doesn't account for the actual download time. So yeah, it's rough. Get the subscription. Yeah, a Bethesda game that can use tweaks? Unheard of. Oh my god. What was it? Starfield? Their latest one? I couldn't play it. I found it atrocious. It was ugly. It didn't run well. It had all the bugs. It didn't have a map system in the beginning. Like, there were no waypoints. And I remember spending 15 minutes looking for a coffee shop, and I was like, F this game. One of the quests were like, I could really use a cup of coffee. And I was like, sure, dude, I could use the experience. And I couldn't find it, and there was no waypoint on the map, so I was like, F this game. This game should burn in hell. So there was an unofficial Portal game forever ago. And I don't know if it's still around, but it was really cool. It definitely didn't throw you around as much as Portals did. And it was fairly short, but I thought it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So what else you guys thinking? I mean, I just released a video on like what I considered essential VR games. And that's everything going from like the casual stuff. Like everyone's got to at least try Beat Saber. I always introduce people to VR with the Space Pirate Trainer. My brain's broken today. Space Pirate Trainer, and people just like get into it instantly. So it's great. So I'm a big fan of that when they introduce people to VR. And obviously, if you're in a party environment, if they ever fix this, Richie's plank, get people on a real plank, but don't be a jerk. Where'd my chat go? Did my chat lock up? Someone say something. This is the most quiet you guys have ever been. In 2,000 years of me doing this. I look pretty good for 2,000, right? I'm going to type in the chat because no one else is. Hi. I'd say. You are the man, Mateo. Love when you go live. Thank you, Cold Fusion. I could use some Cold Fusion. I don't have enough electricity down here. I have to get an electrician to run new power. My lights actually flicker when I run games now. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So let me hear your favorite games in VR, and I will comment in on your favorite titles because I'm sure I probably played all of them, and that'll be a fun discussion to have. There was, I actually really liked Tanks. Oh my God. And Tankards. Cards and Tankards. The word tank got stuck in the brain. Cards and Tankards. I go live when I'm at the dumbest point, when I'm like the most beat in the week, when I'm tired, when I can use a nap. I'm like, yeah, let's go live. Let's show people idiot mode. But Cards and Tankards, I was a big fan for a while. I just haven't been in there, but I just like the whole setup. How it's like going into a real life tavern. You meet people, watch games, learn how to play. I always liked that. I thought it was really well done design wise. Some issues with the balance in the card game itself, but that's a card game. You know, trading card games always in flux. Resident Evil 4, are we talking the remake on PlayStation? Or are we talking the Quest 2 version? Both are great. You know, either way, both are great. Do you have a suggestion for a zombie game that is round based? I mean, you could do After the Fall, and you can do like the horde mode maps. So it's basically just like you're on a map with up to 4 people, and waves of enemies just keep coming and getting bigger and bigger. So that's the closest thing I could think of to what you asked. Do I still play flat games? All the time. All the time. Actually, I was playing... My latest addiction was Path of Exile 2, which is not my style. Like, I'm more of an RPG than an action RPG guy. I'm not a big, like, oh, you know, the RPG becomes number-based. Like, it's all just a math game. What used to piss me off the most was... I can't remember words today. I give up. Anyway, I'm usually not a big ARPG guy. And for some reason, something about this game, the beauty of it, the animations, the way, like, how all the enemies react differently. There is a nice amount of strategy in the class building. I'm sold. It just sucked me in. I'm like 80 hours into it. I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 with Genghis and 2 other people, but that fell apart. We haven't played in a few weeks because Genghis is Genghis. She went on vacation without me. I was annoyed. Not that she has any reason to invite me, but I was just like, shit, I want to be on vacation. And then she always takes me serious, and I'm like, you went on vacation without me? Oh, sorry. You went on vacation without me? And she was like, you're mad? What? I'm sorry. I'm like, why do you always take me serious? The PlayStation VR 2 version. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a beauty compared to the original, but the original is still great on Quest 2. Everyone loves Walkabout. My favorite part about Walkabout is kind of just hanging out with people. Like, I've never enjoyed mini golf, and I don't enjoy it much more in VR, but it's fun. It's undeniably fun. And they make sick courses. Still getting over motion sickness. Do you think Hitman will get me sick? I say you should slowly continue to adapt to VR before you give Hitman a good try. I mean, the things that make people sick are obviously free locomotion. That's when you move based on the controller. The only real cure is time. So if you feel yourself getting even the slightest bit disoriented, not nauseous, disoriented, slightest bit, stop the game, take at least an hour break. Do that as much as possible, and in a month, usually you're fine. Like, most people have adapted over the course of a month if you're playing a little bit every day. So some people it takes longer, some people there's no discomfort whatsoever, because this next generation is a bunch of freaks that need to touch grass. No, it's crazy. Younger kids just get right in, and it doesn't slow them down at all. It's crazy. First time I've caught you live, but I've been watching for a while. Do you know when Civ 7 VR is releasing? I do, but if you don't, then it means it's probably not public, and if it's not public, I probably shouldn't say it. So if someone else has the date, they could drop it. I should have more information on Civ 7 in the near future. How's that for you? Have you tried GeForce Now recently? I haven't used it much. I mean, I don't need GeForce Now. I have a 4090 here. So no one's going to beat that, because even if, GeForce Now doesn't, I think they run like 4080s. Don't quote me. But I won't have the internet latency. I won't have the input latency. I can run my screens at a higher resolution. So there's no reason for, what I'm saying is there's no reason for me to use GeForce Now. But I have tried it on certain devices in the past, and it's pretty solid. I played a bit of Indiana Jones and it'd be so much better in VR. There was a VR mod for it. I think it was one of, who did that mod? It's not Prey Dog. It's gonna be the Luke Ross mod, I assume. The only thing with the Luke Ross mod, you don't get controller support. I don't know. I really like to be in it. The Fallout 4 mod is blowing me away. Like every time I shut it off, I'm like, shit, this doesn't feel like Fallout anymore, and it is just goddamn impressive. All right, Red Matter 2, incredible game. Arkham Age, surprise delight of the year. For sure, they did a lot right with that game. Arkham Channel, of course. Ghost Giant, I'm not familiar with that one. That's definitely one to put on the list. The backlog of 1,000 games. But it's weird because then when I find something I'm addicted to, it's like, oh crap, I need to reserve time for some other stuff. Because I probably only get like 2 hours a day to game if I'm lucky. And if I'm addicted to a game, well, it's like shit, that's going to cut into my VR time. Good day. Melbourne. I got a buddy in Australia, but she used to live at Perth, and I can't remember where she lives now. And the only other person that I think we all know in Australia is Nacy. Nacy's nice. I met her twice. She's always jet lagged though, because she got to fly 1,000 hours to get out of Australia. That's not an exaggeration. Yeah, I mean, GeForce Now and those streaming services have always been for, people who don't have access to the hardware or people who like the game on the go. There's a market for it. That's why they're still around. It's just like with our current technology, current internet infrastructure, stuff like that, you can really never beat local. That's all it is. Trevor, we have discussed Max Mustard. I'm scratching my head, kind of just, wondering what's going on. I thought about reaching out to Richie, but I said he's probably got a million people reaching out to him right now, and he's probably trying to resolve whatever the heck's going on. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to bother him. I wish their team, the best of luck. I hope this gets resolved. There's no reason why both of their titles shouldn't be on. Like, what happened? What's the reasoning? I think in his tweet he said he couldn't talk about it yet, but what could be the possible reason? And there's nothing wrong with the games. The games themselves have been, on the marketplace forever. They're on every platform. They're awesome. So there's got to be some other weird, dispute between Meta and Toast right now, and I'm really curious to hear what it is. Okay, it's my understanding that Resolution Games is done making stories for Demeo. Would they be open to having fan-created stories? I mean, I can't answer that. I think a mod system would be really cool, a sandbox and a mod system for Demeo to kind of, pick up the mantle of like a DM toolkit. Something like that would be awesome. I expect just more focus to go into Battlemark now, though. Just got Metro Awakening on Quest 3 today. I've seen people say good things about the game, but not many people include the game in their recommending games to playlist. What are your thoughts on it? Good question. I think it is a very good game. I actually didn't include it on my most recent list, probably because of a little bit of lack of mainstream appeal. I'm just trying to I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. But sometimes I do my best to separate what I enjoy the most with what I think, the general public will enjoy. So I'll tell you, this is my opinion. This is what I liked. This is why I liked it. This is what I liked about it. But I think certain people have an issue with X, Y, and Z. Overall, I think it was a very, very solid game. I think it is a great example of VR's capabilities. Just horror is not for everyone. It's, it's really dark for some people. It's not a great starter game. It gets a little slow in the middle, which is enough to throw certain people off. But those are like little complaints. All in all, I love the game. I thought it was great. Skyrim VR, just finished Into Black, really enjoying Vox Machina. Vox Machina was really good. I've talked about it a lot in the past. It was definitely really, really good. And it sucked because it started as a PC title that got a ton of support and was multiplayer only. And then they came in with a story campaign, and brought it to the Quest. And sure, they had to downgrade the graphics, and the story campaign was quirky. It was more on the cheesy side than realistic and serious. But across the board, I really liked it. Is there a fun VR Ghostbusters game? If there's a Ghostbusters game, how about that? Resolution Games has a playtest going on for Demeo's engine right now. After that's rolled out, there may be more campaigns. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. I mean, I run into Resolution Games from time to time at different locations. I think the last time I saw them was in Seattle. Well, one member of their team was in Seattle last September. So I always try to get some dirt from them, but even if I do get any information, I'm not allowed to share it. I play most of my VR games seated. I hate that Orion Drift uses hand movement. Such systems uses hand movement systems. Such a weird way to play. It is uncomfortable. I was fine with hand movement in what was it? Underdogs. I was okay because I felt you're the gorilla style mech and you're kind of knuckling down and propelling yourself, and you could also throw yourself at enemies. I was okay with it there, but when Gorn originally released forever ago, and back in the day, there was this mantra of don't move the player in VR, you're going to make them sick. So a lot of games didn't have any sort of free locomotion. And Gorn, you had to pull yourself along the world, but it was baby stepping. It was horrible. I'm not a big fan of that system. I was not a big fan of Gorilla Tag. And if you are going to play seated, you got to get a stool. The Roto chair is good, or the chair from the Cyber Shoes. You got to get a stool. You got to get something that has, obviously no armrest and is narrow, just cups your ass and doesn't have anything that you're going to be smacking. That used to happen. Let me back up a little bit. So if you're trying to get guns from your waist and you're in something like a couch, you end up hitting the couch and you can't get your guns. So you need a chair that just is form fitting like a stool, so that you could put your hands at your side, no problem. That totally needed me to demonstrate it, right? I needed to hand jive you guys there. Jason, I haven't tried Orion Drift yet. But I mean, I want to start playing more of my games seated only because I'm getting tired. 2 hours of standing up in the wasteland and Fallout, and I'm something's broken. I'm not gonna make it. This is how it ends. When you're in your 40s, even standing is hard. Do you think Half-Life Alyx comes to PlayStation VR 2? I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a launch title. Sony and Valve play nice together. Sony brings a lot of their games onto Steam after a year or so, but they bring a lot of their exclusive flat screen titles. I honestly thought, Half-Life Alyx, there's really no reason to keep it locked up behind Steam. They've brought many of Valve's other games to, Xbox and PlayStation. I honestly thought it was going to be a launch title. There's no reason, that Meta needs to gatekeep on that title. That Valve needs to gatekeep on that title. There's no reason. Get the sales up. But maybe it's just not worth their time. They're working on something else that they feel is more important. Because obviously they'd have to be involved, at least in some capacity for that. 100% of the capacity, really. And Valve is not game developers anymore. They're at storefront. They sell games. That's where they make the most of their money. They probably just ran the numbers and said, all right, 2 million people out there, or we're projecting 1 million sales in the first year, 2 million total, whatever, on the PlayStation VR. It'll probably take us, X amount of manpower and hours. We're looking at a multi-million-dollar conversion to get it to work on PlayStation with the proper QA and everything. It's not worth it. that's how these things go internally. It's, you know, like sometimes you stop and go, oh yeah, it'd be really cool if it came to PlayStation. It would, it's just not practical. You know, there's no dollar signs in it. You can't ask business people to spend all their time. They're not like the mod community. You know, a bunch of younger people who are doing this stuff on their side. It's a passion and stuff like that. This is a business. Business decisions need to be made. Just is what it is. Drum stool, cheap and sturdy. Do you have any recommendations for fun dance VR games? Do I look like I dance? I fist pump. All right. Do I look like, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't really play any dance games. I played Samba de Amigo at a meta event and then got really annoyed because like 2 weeks later I saw that they filmed me when I was playing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm shaking maracas and I'm shaking my ass and you guys film me? Thanks. Trevor, I call it Trevor. I'm glad that you understood my hand drive. So, I mean, previously the Valve Index launched in May and it was announced late spring. So, but I don't think we're going to see anything till later in the year. And it would probably be like around Christmas season. People release products at certain times on purpose to help them sell. It seems very likely that we will see the Deckard and some other announcements by the end of the year. All right. How much of improvements do you think the Wanderer will be over the original? When do you reckon we will get the sequel? Sequel, I have no clue. They had a lot of trouble getting this ready for the multi-platform release that's a few weeks away. Sequel, I have no clue. Yeah, I guess it depends on how well it sells. But how much of an improvement? I'd say significant. Hell yeah. Maybe the PC people will probably see the smallest increase, but I would still think it would be nice. Let's see. A few more I enjoyed. Invisible Hours, Xing the Land, or Zing the Land, Beyond. There's a comma. I made it to the comma. Robinson, The Journey, Vertigo 2, Escaping Wonderland. Vertigo 2 and Escaping Wonderland are excellent. Vertigo 2 is one of my favorite first-person shooters in VR. It is Half-Life meets Rick and Morty. It's got a very old school, you know, they called it a half-like. It's a half-like game. You know, it's like Half-Life. Anyway, you know, Souls-like. Now we just got to use the like for everything. But it definitely had that old school Half-Life 2 feel. Or even original Half-Life where you're just going around a big, giant underground complex. But they just take it to a much wackier level. They do really wacky stuff. Okay. Check out the Asus ROG Flow Z13 gaming tablet that can run PCVR. Yeah, someone sent that to me actually not too long ago. I mean, yeah, a tablet is just a non-folding laptop basically, so it's possible. Look at the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck's impressive. I started Arizona Sunshine 2. About how long do you expect the campaign to be? I remember a whole back and forth for this when the game originally released. And I think there's like 14 levels. I'm trying to remember because it's over a year now. I think there's like 14 levels, and a level might take you like 20 minutes to an hour. So just say like 30 minutes, a 7-hour campaign. Give or take. If you're amazing, 5 hours. If you suck, 9 hours. Yeah, Joshua's kind of agreeing with me on that. Vertigo 2 slaps for sure. I can't wait for their DLC. Looks awesome. Do you think AVP will ever compete in the gaming space? No. Does Mac compete in the gaming space at all? No. Why would the Apple Vision Pro do it? Unless they see dollar signs come from somewhere. No, I think they're more likely to do it in a Steam Deck style manner. You know, be able to play flat games through your headset. I could see that more likely because that's something they've done on their phone. Like they got Resident Evil running on their phone. So I could see flat games, but not VR. Joshua, what's called the Quest 2? It's called the Quest 2. What's called the Quest 2? Trying to look, see where that lines up with any other part of the conversation, but I don't see it. It's wacky stuff. But what else? What else is some of your favorite games, guys? I want to hear them down in the chat. Blast out your favorite game of all time right now. If you don't do it, that's fine. What am I going to do? I can't do anything. Do you think Apple's next headset will be a plastic shell? Probably. They're going to do something to get the price tag down. The designing of that headset, while it's beautiful and elegant, it's rough. They weren't easy to produce. So they obviously got to make them much easier to mass produce. Got to eliminate some of the bells and whistles and elements that made it super pricey. And materials is a decent way to go. Oh, Asgard's Wrath 2 is unmatched in many ways. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Okay. Have a good day. How dare somebody interrupt my stream? Let's see. A Way Out. I have played A Way Out. I know those developers just had a new game come out. Split something, Split Tail, Split Decision, Split something, Split. Let's just say Split. And they had The Tale of Two Brothers. They've always done multiplayer games for a while, so which is really cool. I was thinking about it. I got to see what the age on it is because I was considering playing through it with my daughter because she's been playing some games with me lately. We've been playing on the arcade. Look, it's right over here. On the arcade, we've been gaming. Boom. So we've been playing some stuff. We were playing Overcooked last night, and she was laughing. And she's like, "Is that a king onion?" It's funny though. Every time someone says AVP, I think Aliens vs Predator also. Hey, Trevor, leave me alone about Asgard's Wrath 2. I got so far into that game, and then I started doing the roguelite element and couldn't stop and did that for like 70 hours and then never went back to the storyline and then kicked myself. So maybe I'll just watch the ending online so I feel like less of a jerk. Thanks. Thanks for making me feel like a complete asshole, man. Thanks. Go cry myself to bed now. But it was definitely an awesome game. And they moved on, too. I would love to see what Sanzaru's working on now because they're pretty awesome. They had that Marvel game back in the day, but it just wasn't what it needed to be. Potential, but it just didn't have the right feel. Demeo D&D, aka Battle Marked, is going to be awesome. It is honestly like my most anticipated game, but I don't think we're going to see it this year. I think we're going to see it next year. I could be wrong, but I think we're going to have to wait till next year because you saw their last announcement. They're still in like early stages. Alien vs Predator obviously would be cool in VR. There's a lot there that like I feel like certain people underutilize, or certain elements for games are underutilized. Like if you were the Predator, obviously you have an IK system and you see your body. That is some cool shit. Like to do this and the claws come out and pull a spear over your shoulder, or have eye tracked, laser shoulder cannon. But also the Predator vision is one of, like, you don't have to go as far as it was in the movie, but do something cool to highlight vision. And that's like something RPG games should have too. Like when someone goes into rage, kind of muffle the sound and put a red hue to everything. So like your tunnel vision and you're just going to punch through guys. There's a lot of stuff in VR that should be utilized like that. Like just think about some of the really cool moments in games like God of War, where like the game just encourages you to lose your shit. And it's just like, oh, you're now in berserk mode, go ham on the controller, go nuts. Well, if you do that in VR, you know, maybe slow down the world a tiny bit, you put a red hue on things, muffle sound so that, you know, you are tunnel vision. There's so much you could play with there. You know, increase the character size, you know, make the character grow a little bit so everyone looks a little bit small. There's so many elements there that you could do in VR that are just like awesome little tweaks that really don't have the same impact on flat that I wish we saw more of. As a fairly new gamer at 58, I absolutely love Crysis. Fun story. I didn't enjoy Crysis when it originally came out. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the combat. I felt it was like bullets were too floaty. Like they lacked impact. I also felt like for such a badass super soldier, you weren't badass enough. I wasn't a big fan. I think it was Crysis 2. Crysis 2 I enjoyed more. Yeah, like things like night vision have a much stronger impact in VR, but we could also go beyond what we know and we could go superhuman. Like, you know, there's a lot of aspects there, like all of a sudden, like zoom eyesight and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool aspects that we can definitely do in VR that I don't think we see enough on. Did they give Hitman VR an update? Update as far as what? Like release date, stuff like that? We should see a little bit more of it next week during the VR game showcase. And as far as I know, it's, you know, the PlayStation World of Assassination version, attempt number 4 at Hitman is still on its way. 2 is the best Crysis. All right. Glad to know that, you know, I remembered something. My next most played game lately has been VR Chat. So VR Chat was one of these things where like, I don't get it. And I tried it a few times and I was even like, I still don't really get it. And then I did a 12-hour live stream one day. And I think about 10 hours or 8 hours into the live stream, I had the whole day blocked off. And it was like 90 minutes in VR Chat with like fans. And I just sat there and hung out. And it was kind of just like this, but I had faces to talk to and other people to hang out with. And I can, you know, like show people stuff. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that was just chilling, just using VR Chat to chill, which I don't do enough in life. I really need to chill more. I need more friends. I need more social interaction. I need something. Look at me. Look. Behind this beautiful exterior is a dying interior of sadness and despair. All right. The nonsense I go into. I would like a scratch and sniff system for VR. I feel like that can immerse me even more. So they've tried to do these like olfactory sensory devices. I even saw one at PAX East last year, and it's just like, this isn't gonna work. One was supposed to be that you hook up, it's a diffuser. It hooks up to your Xbox or PlayStation via Bluetooth, and based on sounds that it hears, it uses AI to disperse smells into your room. So like if you're shooting a lot and hears lots of gunfire, it's going to do like a smoky smell. So to give you like, you know, the sensation that bullets have been fired. Or if someone uses a flashbang, it's going to give you like a smoky smell, stuff like that. And I was just like, this is $250 and I'm going to be burning through diffuser smells. My room's going to smell like ass half the time. No, thank you. No. Yeah, it's a no to smellovision. Someone called me and immediately hung up. Let's see. Do you think after the PlayStation VR 2, PlayStation VR version of Hitman, they will update the other versions? I don't know. Because remember, not everyone is doing all the same versions. Like the PlayStation, what was it? X-Real? I think X-Real. Was it X-Real? Who did the Quest version of Hitman? Let's look it up because I don't want to be dropping the wrong names. So Hitman VR Quest. Hitman 3 VR Reloaded. You need to reload that a few more times, buddy. Put it back in the chamber. XR games. I know it wasn't X-Real because X-Real does Zero Caliber. XR games. It was produced, it was developed and published by, and I remember before that game came out, someone was like, did you try it? I was like, yeah, I tried it. They're like, that is a studio ender. I was like, ooh, I want to go that far, but it's terrible. And yeah, it's terrible. A stealth game based on telepathy-based abilities. I'm with that. Like, there's been a few games that lean into really cool mechanics. Like, Synapse was one of them. Like, you kind of feel like as you get, like, once you eventually get powered up, you start feeling like a Sith Lord. Just join WhatsApp with smellovision. Yeah, XR. Yeah. Yes, yeah. You are definitely just a little bit behind me in chat, man, but you are correcting all of my mistakes. Thank you. Forget smell. Have you heard of e-taste? New research project at Ohio State University. I don't want to taste my video games. Except maybe like if you play Monster Hunter and they make like the ridiculous meals in between battle. That I taste. Casey, what's up? Hey, what's up? What's up? We're talking about smellovision. We're talking about Toast losing their games on the MetaQuest that we don't know why. We're talking about D&D, Demeo. Are you from the Northeast? Yes, my man. Where do you think? And if you say Boston, you get a permanent ban. Because I didn't say Boston. Okay? Boston. You should know where I'm from. And it depends how familiar you are with Northeastern accents. I don't expect you to narrow it down, but you should be pretty close. Oh my God. I don't want to know about VR Secretary combined with e-taste. Oh my God. Is VR Secretary one of those like almost porn games? Because it seems like it. It seems like one of those games like, hey, seducers. You can now seduce your secretary in VR. I haven't seen it. I've heard of it. I refuse. I'm not from Vermont. Shut up. Why does Ohio do the weird stuff? You gotta ask them. I don't know. Maybe there's nothing to do there and they're freaking bored. Let's have the camera track me. No. No camera. You don't want to track me. There it is. There you go. Oh, hide this. It's my super secret document. That's the nuclear codes. Yes, Flash, I am from New York. I'm not from Jersey. How dare you? Friends don't let friends go to New Jersey. I gotta sit up straight because my stomach looks like it's sticking out. Friends don't let friends go to New Jersey. I'm not from Rhode Island. It is the armpit of America. Jersey's the worst. Okay? Now, you should instantly know I'm from New York because I don't like Jersey. It's just a rule. Just like people from Connecticut don't like Massachusetts because they're massholes. AI roommate. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, my God. Secretary VR. How are these games? Like, don't you feel like a sick, like, pervert when you're making these games? Don't you feel bad about yourself? I'm not saying that to make anyone feel bad. But don't you stop and go, I'm making a game where I seduce my secretary. How did I get here in life? Should I have made different decisions? Is this the project I want to be known for? I mean, some people need a job. Cool with that. Some people are just perverts. Cool. Whatever. We're all somewhere varying degrees on the pervert scale. But to make a game like that, I don't know. Let's see. Hi, Mateo. Thanks for the videos about VR. Anytime, Kevin. Do you play with your subscribers? Giggity. If so, how can I join you for a game? So, Kevin, I try to, but I'm like, I'm busy all day, and then at night I'm with my family. So it's pretty rare. So I used to try and set one day, like, of the week, like a Wednesday or something, to be like, oh, a late night game where I go to my Discord and say, hey, who's available? You guys want to play anything? We usually end up in walkabout mini golf because it's like the one game everyone has. But I don't know, man. Like, I've just been tired at night. I don't have time to do it. My wife's been working crazy hours, so I end up just not doing it anymore lately. And the only time I play some games is like my close friends. When I sit down, if I see a close friend's on, I'm like, what are you playing? I'm jumping in. That's where I am. Oh my God. Kill Delta, I really hope that's not true. I really hope VR Secretary doesn't have better graphics than most other VR games. Where is the 2025 meta game? Well, considering their big game for 2024 was Batman and it just dropped, and Sanzaro recently wrapped up for Asgard's Wrath 2, which is, you know, roughly 2 years now. They're not going to have anything ready. Ready at Dawn's out of the picture. Camouflage has nothing ready. I think we're going to be looking at Twisted Pixel. I think the next first party owned studios that we're going to hear things from are Twisted Pixel. And then after that would be Big Box. I think those will be the next big meta-ish games. I will say, I do not remember any characters flinching in Call of the Mountain when I stare at their boobs, because I must not have stared at their boobs. I prefer my boobies non-digital. It's just me. Just a preference. Bro, Tube VR! Watch my latest Doom VR cinematic. I'll watch it. I want a Mateo cinematic. I want something badass from my channel, but I'll go watch it. Sure. I'll do that. I'll click a thing and I'll go watch your channel. But is it badass? It better be badass. You came in like, bro, you got to watch this, so it better be badass. If it's not, I'm going to be looking for you. Tristan, what's up? What's going on? Hi. Welcome to the chat. We're just chilling. My man. My man. That makes me think of the skit on Saturday Night Live where Pete Davidson plays a high school student who slept with his teacher. And they're trying to, like, they're in court and they're trying to obviously get the woman in trouble. This is a crime to sleep with students. Anyway, but like, he's all proud of himself, Pete Davidson. And then even like the judge is like, my man. He's like, yeah, you know, people are calling me my man, but the way Denzel Washington would say it. And the judge is like, I got this. My man. Chris, you got your symbol backwards. You just said Mateo's less than every other content creator. And I know you screwed that one up because you're always hitting on me. So go and fix your symbols. What do you think the next big thing they will announce in the next Meta Connect? Meta's going to be pushing more wearables. So that's, I mean, they're already announced Meta Connect, which is pretty damn early for it. They're pushing into wearables. I mean, maybe they'll make one last really nice big gaming push. We'll get a cool game announcement. We'll get stuff like that, one or two cool game announcements. But I think it's going to be more the wearable, the glasses push coming. Let's see. Would you like Vertical Robot to make Red Matter 3? Yes. I mean, a studio with that talent, I would love for them to branch outside of puzzle games. I loved Red Matter 2, but I would like to see something new from them because they're so talented. The thing is, does their talent only lie in puzzle games? Can they give us something else that's really well done, is my question. And I'm really glad I have this mute button because I'm about to burp and or sneeze. It was a really good burp. Let me tell you, when I'm drinking carbonated ginger ale, I burp like no other. It's incredible. Now, man, BroTube came in and asked me to watch it. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna watch it. We were discussing the Toast Interactive situation, Max Mustard, Richie's Plank. We were. I need a tissue. I've been snotted up lately. Just like we're now moving into spring, and this just happens every time the seasons change for me. I have a ton of flora and fauna around my house. Oh, you want the ASMR version, please? How was that? Was that good? Did I nail it? Try a Coors Light. Let me tell you, if you really need to hydrate, Coors Light is great. I have a Coors Light story on that note. I used to live in Queens, Long Island City, Queens, which is a really, really nice neighborhood now. And used to kind of just walk to the water's edge and you could look at the city, and there was a really nice park there. And I spent pretty much all the morning there one Saturday. This was years ago, before I had kids, newly married. Life was great. So I went down, spent most of the time down by the water, in the grass, hanging out, hammock, blah, blah, blah. On my way back, I see my great uncle. And everyone in the neighborhood knows him. It was one of those old school Italian neighborhoods. He walks the neighborhood every day. Everybody knows him. He's got so many nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews. At this point, he just calls them all kid at this point, because I don't think he even remembers our names. So he sees me. He goes, "Oh, hey kid, how you doing?" He goes, "You know, I'm allowed one drink a day. The wife allows me one drink a day. Let's go to the bar. Let's get a drink." And at this point, I'm dehydrated. I'm hot. I'm sweating. And he orders me a Coors Light, and it was ice cold. And it was the most refreshing thing I ever drank in my life. And to this day, it is just one of those, it became a core memory. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm thirsty. I need something refreshing. Let's just pound an ice cold Coors Light. Tastes like water. Let's see. Oh, the wife's calling. Hi. I'm live streaming. People are watching us talk right now. That's okay. Just don't do it ever again.
I will try not to. Then I'm just going to let you know I'm going to go get the girls since you're busy.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Was that entertaining for you guys? I was thinking about putting you guys to the commercial screen, the Be Right Back screen. And I even thought about putting my wife on speaker, but who knows? She would have came on and said something crazy. Yeah. And then I would have gotten in trouble. Budget Cuts was really good. That's an old school one. That is an old school one. Camouflage Studio twice now by Upload VR and Rough Talk VR. Their lead, Ryan Payton, I know Ryan, has been asked about making Wolverine VR game. He's made it clear he's not against the idea. Yeah, but sorry, the snots are creeping up on me again. No, I'm with you. I'm sure he's not against the idea. Can they make it happen? The problem is you don't own that IP. So you got to deal with a lot of people. Like Camouflage had to deal with Meta, and they had to deal with Warner Brothers for Batman. It's a lot of back and forth because the IP owner, they have pride in that character, in the setting, in the lore, and you got to play by their rules. So it's rough, but it would be great. I've spoken to I've spoken to Ryan many times. I met him a couple times. I did an interview with him in Seattle in Meta Studios last year. And I asked him a bunch of questions. And then I saw him again at Gamescom in Germany. And then I spoke to him right before they won Game of the Year. So he's a really nice guy. She needs me to run to the grocery store and get some milk right during the live stream. who knows? Like, Disney's weird, man. I really hate the whole, like, people get hung up on, oh, things are failing because they're woke and stuff like that. But Disney has made decisions. Decisions for the wrong reasons. Like, they had an agenda. Now, I'm not going to say it goes as far as, what some people say and the woke agenda is ruining the world, whatever the case is. But I feel like they said, we want to open up Marvel to more young girls, to more women, to more, different minorities. We want to spread Marvel to the world. So how do we make characters that relate to these people? How do we write stories that relate to these people? And that's great and all, but like, you still need to make a good product. At the end of the day, like, I'm willing to accept a character that is, I don't care who the character is. Female lead, male lead, minority. I don't give a shit as long as they're well written and cool. I really don't care. But like, you pissed everybody off with She-Hulk, because She-Hulk kind of came out and she's just like, yeah, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. You, Bruce, you had to spend whatever 20 years in a cave to not Hulk out and kill everybody. I could do that on day one because I'm better than you. And that like kind of pissed people off. Like, they didn't relate to the character. Any haptic suit recommendations? Yeah, we're going off. We're out in left field. I mean, B Haptic is the tried and true one. I have the old school B Haptic right over here. You see it on the chair. That's chilling on my roto chair. And then around this corner, hanging on this wall, I actually have the, what is it called? True Gear. That's the True Gear. It's very similar to the B Haptic, except it has straps that go on your arm and electrocute the shit out of you. And I don't know how I feel about that. You notice it. It adds a little something. But there's a fine line. You turn it on, like, you put it on low and you're like, ooh, my biceps are tingling. And like, I'm used to my biceps tingling. But then you turn it up a little bit more and you're like, ow, shit, fuck, damn. That's what it feels like. Like, I went, you know what? Let's try these for the first time. Let's not pull any punches. Let's straight up just crank this sucker up. And I was hurting. I was like my arm spasmed and I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. Yeah, we need good writing. Like, I don't care about, like, there's been so many amazing female leads. Sigourney Weaver in the original Alien movie. I just recently watched that movie because, I'm just like, I'm trying to make sure that the neighbor's kid is up to date with all, because I got to give background story on this. My neighbor, her dad passed away a couple years back. So she was a young girl without a dad. And then we became really close during this time after her dad passed away. So I'm close with her mom, and she's almost like part of the family. Like, she just walks in my house now. She comes on vacation with us. So I always joke and say, this is my adopted daughter. Or I introduce her as my oldest. So I say, oh, I adopted a 17-year-old. She's 17 now. We've known her for years. But I'm like, kid, I'm not going to let you go through life not knowing the good movies. So I've been watching things like Matrix with her and Alien and Terminator. Like, I'm trying, Predator. I'm trying to get her through all those movies. So she has a good basis in life. And we watched Alien, and Alien is just, Alien is phenomenal. It's a little slow by today's standards. We're used to being like blown away with graphics and stuff. It's a little slow, but it is fantastic still. And like the animatronics and stuff still live up to today. It's insane. But Sigourney Weaver was such a badass character. And then you have Sarah Connor. You got so many, Kill Bill, obviously. There's so many great female leads. I don't care if it's a female, it's a guy, it's a minority. I don't give two shits. Just don't give me crappy writing, overpowered nonsense, shit like that. Kill Delta, there's nothing official of what Camouflage's new product is. Or next product would be. They just wrapped up Batman Arkham Shadow. And they pretty much said that They would do a sequel. They would do a different game. I hope they do something badass. Genghis is a faker. Don't listen to her. Genghis is a faker. She's full of shit. Know what it is? She's so used to being electrocuted, she doesn't even notice anymore. Speaking of families, you should show her The Sopranos then. Yeah, well, I mean, I made sure that my wife watched the Godfather movies. So we watched 1 and 2 together. Cena was amazing. Lucy Lawless. I'm going back, old school crush right there. Even like, you could even be cheesy with it and be fun. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was great too. I mean, come on. It's one of those things, but like, I tried to watch the second Captain America movie, and I think it's the only Marvel movie that I just got up and said I'm done. I mean, I honestly think it's the only Marvel movie that, because in the middle of the movie, not only did it look like I was watching an episode of Power Rangers, it made even less sense. It's like, I'm going to spoil a movie because it doesn't even, no one should watch it. But like the bad guy, who's the lamest bad guy ever, she's basically female Ronin, but worse. She's got the ability to open up portals, and her plan is to open up a portal on this planet that she's annoyed at and suck the air out of it and bring it to her planet that needs more air. Okay, cool. You don't need to land on the planet like and just like posture and be like, ha ha ha, now I'm going to suck the air out of your planet. No. Who on earth would do that? Just open up your effing portal and kill everybody. But this was also after the Disney Princess sing-along that happened during the Captain America movie. So at this point, after the sing-along, which was straight up like, all right, this is a Disney movie, and then that nonsense that looked like I was watching an episode of Power Rangers, I literally grabbed the remote and said, I'm so done. There's nothing that can redeem this movie. I don't care if it has the ending rewrites all of the MCU. I don't care. This movie is dead to me. It was bad. It was really bad. What about the Thor movie that was terrible with female Thor? Okay. Natalie Portman is my girlfriend. We've been dating for, 30 years now. My wife is completely cool with it, and she could do no wrong. So because she's in that movie, by default, the movie's okay. All right? By default, the movie's okay. But it was not a great movie. It was not. It went too goofy, went stupid. It's like everything that Thor learned along the lines of maturity and growing up, he just totally forgot overnight. Like, I hate that. Some of these like separate MCU projects kind of rewrite the character backwards. Thor 2 was, amongst the worst MCU movies. We have Iron Man 3, which was horrendous. Thor 2, probably that might even be even worse. The first Hulk movie, which oddly, in the recent Captain America movie was the sequel to the first Hulk movie. That's not a spoiler. So you got the original Hulk movie, which was pretty bad. Quantumania was a shit show. That was really bad. That wasn't entertaining. But probably the worst of all was the newest Captain Marvel. Those are the 6 worst in my opinion. Barbarella is before my time. Eternals, honestly, I think Eternals is better than those 6. Eternals at least was like, like my brain could shut off and just go, ooh, colors, fighting, CGI. Like, at least I was able to do that and not be taken out of the moment by like things that didn't make sense. And the whole movie is like, all over the place. But like one of the coolest enemies, the only thing you care about, they kind of say, we'll just delete that section of the story and now have a celestial come out of the ground. You want a VR game similar to Planet Side 2? We got really far in the weeds here discussing stuff today, guys. Like, really far in the weeds. But this is cool. This is what it's all about. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman was nice. Nice. The worst Catwoman was probably Halle Berry's movie. And I feel like, oh, that's a good role for her. You know, she's like very attractive. She's seductive. She's got moves. You can see her in the latest John Wick. I mean, how old is she? She's like 50 something, and she's still stunning. We'll look her up. Halle Berry. Halle Berry is an absolutely stunning 58 years old. We age very different. So, I'll put this out there. I'm older than the cast of Seinfeld. Okay? Just think of George and Kramer and Jerry. I'm older than them. And Elaine. I'm older than them if you could picture them. Now think of the cast of Golden Girls. So the youngest one, Blanche, which was the slut. Am I allowed to say that? The promiscuous one, Blanche. She was 44 when the first season of that show. I am Golden Girls age. We age differently. Not saying I look amazing for my age, but we age differently. George Costanza was also comically fat. Back then, a guy who was that chubby was considered comically fat. Now, someone who's comically fat is Peter Griffin. Shit is changing, man. Yeah, I'm here to hang out with you guys, answer your questions, like, you know, do the whole thing. When you guys are talking about, you know, one aspect, that's where we're going to go. You guys talk about whatever the case may be. I'll follow suit. I ain't going to shut up. Yeah, Endgame really was when things went, you know, sideways. George was born old. Some Benjamin Button. You don't want to talk about John Lena's heel turn. I have nothing to say because I'm not informed. Can I Google that without getting in trouble? Let's see. You know what I'd even get into, which would make people go berserk? Oh, John Cena? What happened? Well, anyway. John Cena's awesome. But John Cena's starting to look like, well, what the heck was his name? Oh my God, what was the guy I used to watch? Ernest. When I was a kid. John Cena is turning into Jacked Ernest. Ernest. The really goofy guy. Anyway, I think like 4 people in my chat don't know who he is. We are older than the cast of Cheers. Oh my God. Norm! Yeah, that's true too. Those guys looked really effing old. But they, you know, it's really crazy, man. What goes on and how things change. So Vsauce did a thing on this, like the cast of Cheers. It's more haircuts and clothing. But it's haircuts and clothing. But there's also been like a million different things, like as far as face creams and medical stuff. Just, you know, just pollution and stress make you age a lot faster. So Eddie Murphy still looks good too. Yeah, Ernest Goes to Camp. Oh my God. Hell Split on Quest. I got to check it out. The funny thing is, like, so Meta puts out a list of games that are releasing, and it wasn't on their list. And I usually get like press notifications directly from developers, and I got nothing. And people are like, oh, you didn't mention. I'm like, I didn't directly hear anything about it, which is odd, but Hell Split is awesome. So I hope they do a great job on Quest. Ernest saves Christmas, and he did go to jail. And if he got swole on steroids, he'd be John Cena. UV does a ton of damage too. I mean, when I was a kid, we'd be in the sun all day long. No one wore sunblock. Sunblock was for like the goofy looking pale kid with freckles. No one wore sunblock. But yeah, no, I will say I really liked Hellsplit back in the day. I just felt like it didn't hold my attention as much as Blade and Sorcery, which offered up more. And I felt like it was a little bit more jank, at least originally. But Ernest was scared stupid too. Let's see. Interested in seeing an AI-written MMORPG that has the ability to be rewritten by AI based on how players react to the game. I think as much as certain people hate AI, and they're like, you used AI, you know what? Let's end this stream with a rant on AI. Fuck yeah, let's do this. It's either this or politics, and you know what? I'll go AI because I feel like it's less triggering. There are some people who are like, oh my God, anyone using AI for anything is a monster. And they're horrible. And you should be paying real people, real money. And, you know, you should be getting less bang for your buck. And you should, you should have to spend weeks of your life trying to find a talented person so they could do this niche job for you. And then you have to go back and forth with them and, you know, eventually get it narrowed down to what you want. All right. Whatever. Let me stay focused here. AI, in my opinion, is a tool like any other tool. I was around in the 80s when Photoshop first started getting heavily used. And people were like, this is ridiculous. This isn't real art. You know, you're destroying photography. The magazine cover looks good because I spent so much time getting the perfect shot of that model. Now you just go in and do something on a computer and all of a sudden the model looks 10 times better. No, you're destroying the art of photography. Or that's not a real image. You touched her up. This is not real. And there was a pushback of all that technology back then. This isn't real art. And now you see the same thing with AI. And I will agree, there is an aspect of soullessness to AI generated art. I can look at a piece of AI art and 9 times out of 10, I would say, well, it depends on the type of art, but say 8 times out of 10 go, that's AI. Because I don't know if it's the uncanny valley. There's something in the back of your mind. However, my wife, completely immune to this. Like I was actually just like my wife was looking at something. She's like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm like, that's an AI video. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, look at it. She's like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, you can't see like how it's too smooth. How it's like, the AI videos, they're always like walking in slow motion and like blinking in slow motion. And like everything is just too smooth. I'm like, you can't see this? And she's like, no, not at all. And I'm like, it's like, I'm not even seeing that it's an AI image. I'm feeling that it's an AI image. So it's on that level, but she can't see it. Just like she can't see the difference if the TV's at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. You have to be exposed to it a lot, which is scary for the future because, I think our kids will be okay. They'll be exposed to it. They'll know what's fake and what's not. But the boomers have no fucking clue. And my wife is, 2 generations away from boomer. So the boomers, anything AI, they think is real right now. My light's flickering. So it's crazy. But I see AI as a tool, just like anything else. Generative AI, like, do you know how amazing it is? Like, you have a picture for a background and you're like, oh, yes, but in this game, the guys use lasers. The picture I wanted to use, the guy has a Soviet rifle. Let's just crop that gun, use Photoshop's generative AI and say, change the laser rifle. And it does it. That is a tool that like people would kill for. It's amazing. So I think this technology is great. It's a tool. But like any other technology, you just don't use it as a crutch. Don't lean on it too much. Like, listen, you could compare this to any other aspect. Like makeup, we know makeup definitely makes, people look more appealing. They look prettier. But you could go too effing far to the point that you look remotely nothing like yourself and you're gaslighting people. So anything can be taken too far. AI porn is not quite there yet. They're freaking me out. Like I'm scrolling TikTok and you see the, hi, I'm your AI girlfriend. First I noticed that weird smoothness. So I go, okay, yeah, this girl's fake. Then I go, Jesus Christ. AI is generating like these girls that are unnaturally attractive, which is just going to mess up our brains. So there's a lot of aspects, but like any new technology, there's pros and cons. I mean, I'm really interested, and I haven't added it into my Fallout session yet, but I really want to add the AI characters into my Fallout session, so I could have ongoing dialogue with these characters, which is wild. I mean, just the fact that what's his name? What's the stupid robot in Fallout that you meet? Cogsworth, right? Yeah, it's Cogsworth. Just the fact that he's following me around and calls me Mr. Matt, I laugh every time. I'm like, that's so funny. He's like, Mr. Matt. And I'm just like, that's great. Now, if I could have full-on conversations with him, hell yeah. The only thing is, when you reach into something like AI, you're losing control. When you make an RPG that has a deep storyline, you want to stay in control of the story. So there's only certain room for AI characters. You can't generate a whole story of AI because you don't know what the hell the character will experience. And there's no overall, like, it's not your story anymore. It's not your artwork. It's not your baby. It's a random experiment, which could turn out being fantastic, but results will vary. Vale has been super solid. I never liked Vale. And I don't know. There was a couple things with the studio that I took issue with back in the day. And I'm very happy that they buckled down and spent a lot of time focusing on their game. But at first, they got a ton of money from a lot of different things like NFTs and shit. And they were like burning that money on events and stuff. I'm like, no, get your game right first. What do I think about the Tesla robots? They are bullshit and will never work. Mark my words. The Tesla robots are absolute bullshit. Oh, I'm trying to stay grounded here, but here it comes. Tesla robots are bullshit. Tesla self-driving is bullshit. Tesla cars are bullshit. I mean, when they first released the Model S and even the Model 3, they were ahead of the curve. They were producing cars, even though they had a ton of quality issues, manufacturing issues. They were pushing cars that had technology and specs you couldn't get anywhere else. Now that's not even the case. Other electric, EV manufacturers, they have caught up. Their technology is just as good. Full self-driving has been their dream since 2016. Elon's been saying it's going to be ready this year for now 9 years. He was saying it publicly in 2016. Our car's 10 times safer, 100 times safer than people now. Meanwhile, engineers have come out and said, that's bullshit. In 2016, we could barely get the car to stay in the lanes. Okay? So it's all bullshit. And every word out of Elon's mouth should be taken not with a grain of salt, like a heaping tablespoon of salt. Don't listen to, he's had to go in front of Congress. He's had to talk about many different products that he claimed were real that weren't even real products. The only product that he's been in charge of from beginning to end, because he bought his way into Tesla. And Tesla, which people don't know, made the vast majority of all of their money by selling carbon credits. Since they're an electric company, they don't produce those emissions, so they have carbon credits, and they could sell it to other companies. And that's how that and government subsidies is how they stayed profitable 90% of all the years they've been in business. And all this, oh, we're making the world safer, we're cutting down on pollution, all effing bullshit, because you're selling carbon credits to companies. You're profiting off their ability to pollute more. It's all bullshit. So the only product he's ever been in charge of from beginning to end is the Cybertruck. And just look at that piece of trash. So this is what happens when you say Elon Musk in my chat. It's rough. SpaceX is bull too. SpaceX has survived 100% on government contracts. They took $3 million from the American people for we should have been landing on Mars. Now, SpaceX has spent almost all $3 billion. They spent like $2.8 billion of the contract, and they are so far behind on it. And we're giving them more contracts. They blow up half the rockets they launch. Their rockets are not cheaper to launch than NASA was doing in the 60s. It's all bullshit. The lander that they designed is such a piece of crap that I think it needs 12 refuelings. So they have to do 12 refuelings. You know, they got to shoot fuel up into space. Mind you, half of everything they launch blows up. So now they have to shoot 24 rockets up into space to get enough fuel up there to make their lander go to the moon, not Mars, the moon, which we made it to in the 60s. Starlink is a joke. They tried to war profiteer. They asked the American government to keep their satellites over Ukraine. They asked the American government for more money than Starlink is worth. So they said, well, for us to keep our satellites over Ukraine, it's going to cost, I don't know, $10 billion. Random number. And that's the amount of profit the entire company makes in a year. That's what they told the U.S. government. That is some effing bull. That's war profiteering. How do you think I'm feeling lately? All right. We landed on the moon. Space exploration is one of these things that's absolutely amazing, but we got to be on board. But there's no money in space exploration. At first, Elon's like, yeah, we're going to have these big space yachts, and it's going to be amazing, and you're going to have 0G games, and it's going to be like on a cruise all the way to Mars. Bullshit. It's going to be cold and lonely, and any one thing goes wrong, you're dead, and you're probably not making it back. Let's see. My chat decided to up and leave me for this one. I'm stressed. I've been pretty frustrated over it because he has no right to be involved in our politics right now, and he's heavily involved, and they're doing crazy shit now. They really are. I'm not trying to get political, but they're doing. And then, like, I talked to people from Canada, and Trudeau was so right with his statement. I mean, this is an act of war. They're our closest allies. No one gave a shit about Canada. Canada's just there. That's our neighbors to the north. They're the polite guys that just chill. And he's just like, I got a good idea. You know, people are bitching and moaning that things are too expensive. Let's go to trade war with Canada. That will do the opposite, but help. I'm dying lately. How's everybody feeling? You feeling as bad as me? I'm done. I cooled it. We don't have underwater cities or cities in Antarctica, but we want one on the moon. Yeah. I mean, we have a research facility in Antarctica, and underwater is probably even worse than the freaking moon, but at least you're closer. At least you could get food and supplies and rescue people if need be. But like, it was crazy when that last stupid submarine, I forget what it was called, that the billionaire went down in and they died. Obviously, now someone said when that submarine failed, they were so low that there's nothing we can do about it. Even if we knew exactly where they were, there's so few crafts that can go that low. We can't send help. So even if and those few crafts are so far away, by the time we got them there, it's too late. So you think about it, this is insane. And that's what space travel is, but much further, millions of miles. All right. Thank you for getting me back on track here. Of all the VR games that released last year, which one should I get in the Steam Spring Sale next week? Well, I was going to say Batman, but you said Steam. So, I mean, I don't know. Depends on what you like. There's Behemoth, there's Alien, there's Metro. You know what? Screw them all. Get Underdogs. Get Underdogs. It launched early last year, and it's amazing. So, for a very long time, we've been a global economy, and everything one country does kind of affects others. But, I mean, we're a massive country, and we're doing crazy shit. I don't want to get into it. It's just crazy. And Arlen, you're right. I did see what Neil discussed about, private enterprise going into space. It's bull. It's not happening. Yeah, get Trombone VR. Get Vertigo too. They're all good. Did they schedule the VR showcase on March 11th for you? Yeah. 100%. Yeah, totally. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. And this link is basically all the games I recommend, all my affiliate links, all hardware sales, all my affiliates, everything. Some of these are affiliate links. Some of them I don't get a penny. They're just games I like or stuff I recommend. Definitely go check it out if you're in the market for a new game or some new hardware or something. I'm pretty sure I heard that the Kiwi prices are going up because of tariffs. They're going to go up 20% or some nonsense, which is a headache. But, just whatever. It's not like a car. Kiwi, we're talking about maybe $10 it'll go up, which sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's all games I recommend, affiliate links and stuff. So it's a win-win. Usually you guys get a discount and I get a little kickback and we're all happy. If you're ever looking for a game that's not on this list, you want an affiliate code or you want my friend code from Meta, just hit me up on my Discord. And again, guys, thank you so much for, you know what? I haven't been making enough eye contact with you guys today. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for being here. I want to be able to do this without you guys. If you're new here, you probably don't know that I do this for a living now. I've been doing this for a couple years, full time now. And it's only because of you guys I'm capable of doing it. The next event I'm going to is GDC, so I'm going to be showing you guys some coverage on that. I'm going to be covering Mythic Realms next week. And honestly, guys, I looked at it. I said, this is too kidsy. I can't cover this. And I played it. And there's so much about it. I like it. But I really wish it was more mature. But I'm going to cover that game next week. I got a video coming out about the best and worst case scenario for VR. So VR could have an amazing 2025 or it could be horrible. And I'm going to talk about how both of those things can happen with stuff like the Deckard and meta moving away from games. A lot going on. But again, guys, if you're ever looking for games or hardware, check out that link. Best way you guys could support me is just to throw a thumbs up. I know every once in a while you guys donate, which is wacky, but I do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for everything. Even listening to me rant and cry about politics, which I know is a heated topic and someone's just going to be like, F this guy, I'm never watching him again, but it is what it is. I'm going to stay true to myself. I'm going to always keep it real with you guys. So that was today's stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up. Give me that thumbs up. Your feedback is always appreciated. Thank you guys. Love you guys, and I will see you on next week. And that was today's stream, guys. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be here without you. You guys mean the world to me. I hope I did a good job answering all of your questions. And if you want to help support me, the easiest ways are always to leave a comment, throw a thumbs up, subscribe, or if you're one of those crazy people who likes to burn money on me, why not use one of my affiliate links for a discount on some accessories? Maybe become a Patreon or YouTube member. And finally, I have a merch shop with items that no one has ever bought before. Again, thanks for hanging out, guys. And of course, I'll see you on next time.